I did some testing with Dark Magician of Chaos. I was using Dedication through Light and Darkness for most of it because it's a really good way to get him out, especially considering how easy it is to get Dark Magician out using 3-star demotion and using Legion to search him out. But in the end, it seemed like overall it was a little too slow. So this card says from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and that part, like it being able to summon from the graveyard, sounds amazing, but there is one flaw to this. If this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead, so you can't even revive it from the grave. Because when you either like tribute summon it to get rid of it, or it just dies, it ends up getting banished. So the part that actually made me want to run multiple of this was the graveyard effect. But that's not even viable. I'm not really sure how you'd end up getting him into the grave. I really like Soul Exchange with it. So something you could do is send out Legion, have DMoC in your hand. Well, he'd have to already be out. So like set him or something, he survives one turn, enemy sets a monster. Then you could just use Legion's effect plus Soul Exchange. And then you could get out Dark Magician of Chaos. And then you'd still be able to make another summon that turn. I don't know, it's okay, it's definitely not bad. And then of course Birthright's a lot of fun with it. So you'll easily get Dark Magician, well somewhat easily get Dark Magician out, and then if he gets sent to the grave you just revive him with Birthright. So overall, like, the deck was just bricking a little too much for my taste. So I decided I'd also try out using Destiny Draw. And I didn't get very many games with the Destiny Draw one yet, because I was doing a lot of different variations of 3-star demotion. I think Destiny Draw is actually going to be a lot better. I had some decent games still. Without the quick play spell for Dark Magician of Chaos, it really doesn't feel like much of a Dark Magician of Chaos deck. Alright, so here we'll see why enemy controller is so good. Even if this guy had a Karibo, he still wouldn't have been safe. Alright, so we get our tribute off using Legion's effect. Then we 3SD, send out Dark Magician on the same turn. And we start an attack. We use enemy controller during the second step of the attack. So after the attack declaration. So if he stopped it originally with Spirit Karibo, I wouldn't have had to have even used enemy controller at that point. Well, basically, because he didn't use a Sphere Karibo and it got to that step, he wasn't able to defend himself if he did have one. Either way, he was gonna lose. But it's definitely a good demonstration of Fiend Jester Legion. He's a really cool card. Definitely synergizes well with single tribute spellcasters. And then he searches out Dark Magician for you. Alright, so he's Cyber Angels. Get out my Dark Red Enchanter. the very first time I ever get to use him. So I know he's gonna end up using spell cards. So I just end up using its effect to make him discard one card by removing 2 spell counters. And it ends up hitting his Machine Angel Ritual, but he's running another one even though that's the card that's going to get limited to 1. Not sure why he's wasting his time using this deck anymore. At 2 of those or 3 of those. Because pretty soon he won't be able to. But here he expected, hey, he's at 1700. My 1800 Ben 10 or Benton will be able to get over it. But every time a spell card is used, I gain 1 spell counter and I gain 300 attack. So he gives up at that point because he clearly made a mistake. Which is too bad because I was about to make an amazing combo. That was actually really disappointing. So I was gonna 3 SD, send out Dark Magician, go and use, well, attack with him, then summon Dark Magician of Chaos, and I'm pretty sure I had a Birthright also. So I would have gotten off like Dark Magician attack, Red Enchanter attack, another Dark Magician attack, and a Dark Magician of Chaos attack. It would have been pretty cool. He just kind of ruined everything. So this hand was drawing super inconsistently. I was getting Dark Magician of Chaos into my hand like pretty much half of the duels, even though I only was running 1 of him. So it's pretty ridiculous. Alright, we got 3-star Emotion, Birthright, Wall of Disruption, but we'll probably not get to use Wall of Disruption. Alright, we summon him, then use a secondary effect, and we get to search a trance. And that's where banishing comes in use. So if it specifies that it needs to be sent to the graveyard, and you kill it with Dark Magician of Chaos, it's gonna banish it and he won't get to use his search effect, or the effect that they would use in the grave. And of course they use Birthright there, revive Dark Magician. And here I realize, wait a second, I just tributed Dark Magician of Chaos and he got banished. I was planning on using Dedication through Light and Darkness from the grave to revive him, but I overlooked the fact that if it leaves the field it gets banished. So I mean, that part of the effect is actually terrible. The only benefit you would get from that is if you have cards that revive from the banish zone or somehow benefit from it. So I guess it could be an excuse to use Escape from the Dark Dimension, but it's unlikely that that would be that beneficial for you. Like, it'd take a lot of work to even get him onto the field and then get banished. Like, having a dead card for that long just isn't good. Yeah, I somehow kept drawing him into my starting hands. So it's pretty terrible. Like, I actually had a pretty decent amount of brick duels where just nothing happened. It's just kind of hard to fit him into a real deck. Yeah, hands like this happen super often. Like, I'm fine with having a few monsters, but I'm running less monsters than I'm running Spell and Trap. But I'm somehow starting with Dark Magician of Chaos and 2 others. That's really bad. Alright, so you got Dark Magician in the grave, forced him to discard. We have Birthright. Might as well just give his monster off the field. He had Wild Tornado though, so I just don't get to do anything with that. And he's running a Nanta, And he's running it super defensively. So here he makes a mistake. Instead of staying defensive and just removing my back row, starts going aggressive. So here I wanted to use Curse of Anubis, but for some reason he decided to play around Curse of Anubis without even knowing it's Curse of Anubis. I mean, he shouldn't have known. He still played around it. I can't activate it if all of his effect monsters are already in defense. So here I get lucky and draw a Fiend Jester, so I get to kill him. He rolls a 1 with last gamble. Alright, I get a trance. Top deck another Fiend. Fiend Jester. For some reason it wasn't letting me tribute for trance. Normally you don't have to have him face up to tribute. So it says, during your main phase you can tribute summon one spellcaster type monster in face up attack position in addition to normal summon set. It says nothing about Legion having to be face up, and I've definitely tributed him face down and still gotten his effect. So I don't know what was going on there. That was really annoying. He gets out into Nanta. I thin my deck again. Hand is super brick. But I drew one of the soul exchanges that I added in. I added it in like right before this duel. So his back row is nothing, so he just surrendered. So I should have actually won the turn that I was trying to tribute for Trance Fiend. Didn't actually let me do it. So here's a duel with the Destiny draw. I'm not sure if I should even keep in Birthright, but I feel like that's like one of the main reasons to even run this deck, is doing the quick play to summon Dark Magician of Chaos and then reviving another Dark Magician with Birthright. So here we go. Mazo to send out Dark Magician. We have a quick play to summon Dark Magician of Chaos. Alright, he's some kind of cool Luster Soldier deck. I guess the middle on it sent all three to the grave. A hero emerges. And it's actually a Black Luster Soldier. So he's at a point where he wasn't able to activate this trap again. But then he does it on the other attack. So he actually already had... His hand was amazing, actually. Like, that's pretty much his ideal hand. But, enemy... I used Destiny Draw to search out that enemy controller. Birthright would have been cool, but I needed enemy controller to win that. Yeah, I feel like the Destiny Draw version is going to be a lot cooler and more fun to play. Like activating Aegis of Gaia while you're taking 2000 damage. Like if you don't have Mazo already, it's like a really good way to make your hand turn good. You just get to pick and choose exactly what you need. While the 3-star demotion deck, you're usually... Like, a lot of the time I'm starting with too many monsters in my hand. But even if you only have one monster plus 3 defensive cards, it might not be enough. If you lose that monster somehow, you're probably going to be in trouble. Definitely think the Destiny Draw version's the way to go. I'll probably do some more test games with it. Yeah, that's all for now.